Hey, Bookish friends, it's your girl Alyssa, and I'm here with some summary romance book recommendations. Thank you for everyone who voted on Instagram for what kind of episode you wanted this week. Before we start, like on YouTube, subscribe on Spotify. Make sure you're following on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube. I got them mixed up. I hope your summer's going well so far. I feel like this summer has really flown by. Honestly, between summerween and travel and school, life has been going really fast. And I hope that for everyone who's listening, you're also making time for yourself, making time to slow down, making time to relax. Like, that's incredibly important. And I just want you to cozy up while you listen to this episode. Make a nice little drink. If it's a mocktail, if it's nice tea, if it's a little cocktail, if you're into that, whatever you want, be responsible. I am drinking some watermelon and ice, and I put a little bit of sea salt, and it tastes really good. Okay, so we had a sip. I have some really fun summer romances. I have spicy recommendations. I have found family. I have a cowboy romance, and I have a date with a book. So this is a mystery date with a book from Steamy Lit in my town. I recommend everyone check out your local bookstores, support them. Support stream off as well. They just did one with Kennedy Ryan, which was so cool. So I had to grab one of these. One of the events I actually went to for Steamy Lit, I grabbed this with my girlfriend. I love you can see the tropes on the front of the book, as well as some bookmarks and stickers. This is not sponsored. I just love Steamy Lit. I love a woman-owned business that is bookish and supportive of others. Clock it. So I wanted to do a little bookish unwrapping of this mystery date with a book from Steamy Lit. Definitely check them out. I'll link their website below as well as their Instagram. So let's unwrap this little mystery date with a book. The tropes are sapphic psychological thriller, villain era heroine, get rid of the other one to be the main character. Okay. And this is what made me want to buy it. Similar to Killing Eve, this is hashtag Steamy Lit Bookstore. I'm so excited. I can never have too many little bookmarks. I love stickers. And I'm excited to see what kind of book this is because I think it's one that I don't already own. So I'm unwrapping it. You'll Never Forget Me by Isha Raya. I have never heard of this one. I'm excited. What is this one about? Struggling actress Dimple Kapoor wouldn't call herself a murderee per se. She preferred the term opportunist. Years ago, she did what she had to be done to get herself out of a bad situation. And now, after accidentally killing her Hollywood rival, Irene Singh, at a party, she's simply seizing the chance to nab her dream leading role and um, rescue her career in the process. There's only one problem. Someone else at the event witnessed the crime and caught it all on camera. Ooh, okay. While everyone she's ever wanted within reach, Dimple will stop at nothing to keep stardom in her grasp. But Irene's parents have hired Safi Marie Ayer, one of the best private investigators in the business. Living up to her reputation, Safi immediately zeroes in on Dimple, who feels she has no choice but to raise the stakes. Playing along with Dimple's facade, Safi invites her onto the case, suggesting she act as bait to draw out the killer. And as the two women cat and mouse game intensifies, Safi starts to wonder if she may have finally met her match. Ooh, okay, okay. With their careers at risk, both women must fight the potent chemistry drawing them together. Dimple needs Safi dead, and for her theories to die with her. Safi needs Dimple behind bars, but catching her elusive prey won't be so easy, especially as emotions begin to cloud her judgment. When ambition and desire collides, only the most cunning will survive. And that is You'll Never Forget Me by Isha Raya. This is once again from that blind date with a book from CD Lit. So I'm so excited. And I'm looking at the little bookmarks in here. Sometimes I'll start a book and then like I'll need a bookmark and I just grab whatever's nearby. So I love knowing that there's one connected to this little bookmark and this little blind date. So yeah, I'm going to pop that in here, but I cannot wait to read that. So that's like a summary thriller kind of vibe. Okay, they really Tape this down. All right, cool. So I'm gonna keep this celebrating diversity and romance. Love that. So cute. They have locations in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and Tampa. So if you're in Florida, definitely check them out. And like I said, I think they have a virtual like platform as well, and they're also on Instagram and have a website. So we love to see that. All right, what's next? So, for a summary romance, I wanted to touch on one of my favorite sapphic black romances that is very much giving small town romance and it's perfect for summertime. And that is Where There's Smoke by Aricka Alexander. Okay, so I want to describe this the same way that I would describe like one of my favorite movies. This book is very much giving like brown sugar, it's giving 90s romance, it's giving low stakes. I really, really adored the characters in this book. The side characters also are very sweet. One of the main characters is a baker, the other one is a firefighter. We've got a mask and femme kind of romance, and we also have a lot of banter, a lot of flirtation, and quite a bit of spice. Aricka Alexander's been on the podcast before. We discussed Where There's Smoke, and we also have an upcoming episode coming out later this year that is going to be diving into another one of their romance books coming out very soon, which is more of like a friends to lovers. So, Where There's Smoke, what is it about? I'm going to read the blurb. Where there is smoke, there is bound to be fire. However, fire never smelled this good. Everyone knows Phoenix, aka Fee, Preston as the gorgeous, gentle giant, always ready to help in any way she can, with a smile on her face. Even since she was younger, she's always looked up to her grandfather, the town's fire chief. She admired him, respected him, and has been raised by him from the age of 6. So it's only natural when she turned 18, she followed in his footsteps, becoming the first and only female firefighter in the small town of Tucker, Louisiana. When her grandpa passed away suddenly, she left town because it was hard being there when he wasn't. It isn't until years later that she finally returns, and as if the universe was gifting her for returning, she runs into a beautiful woman who immediately captures her heart, not only with her beauty, but with a slice of strawberry shortcake. However, the moment is short-lived, and the woman disappears from her life, leaving only the taste of sweet dessert and her name behind. Years later, that mysteriously intriguing woman permanently moves to town to take over her late grandmother's bakery. Angel Savy has spent a great deal of her adult life avoiding small towns because of the bad memories she had involving her parents' death. But now she has no choice but to move on to one. To her surprise, the town quickly grows on her. She can see herself putting down roots in Tucker, especially after she reconnects with a certain very attractive female firefighter who stops at nothing to make her smile. And that is Where There's Smoke by Aricka Alexander. This is also on Kindle Unlimited. So for my Kindle girlies out there, grab this one right now. This is an LGBTQIA plus romance, Black representation, cutie patooties in this story. We've got curvy rep, masculine and feminine representation in this sapphic romance. And we also have discussions of grief and navigating anxiety and mental health. So this is a really amazing story. Okay. Next, I had to add this one to the list because I love this author so much. All of her books are absolutely divine, and this is Hannah Bonam Young's Out of the Woods. This follows a married couple who's kind of navigating life changes. They were together, I believe, in school, and now as they've grown up, they're hoping that they still have that spark in their marriage. You also, if you read Out on a Limb, the female main character of Out on a Limb, this is her best friend. So it's just really, really cute, like seeing her best friend's love story. So let's dive right into it. A married couple joins a week-long wilderness expedition to help them reconnect in this heartfelt companion novel to the TikTok sensation Out on a Limb. I will say, Out on a Limb's audiobook was amazing, and it's 100% worth the hype. It's brilliant. So back to the description. High school sweethearts Sarah and Caleb Linwood have always been a sure thing. For the past 17 years, they have had each other's backs through all the ups and the downs. But Sarah has begun to wonder, who is she without her other half? Her late mother, Sarah, wants nothing more than to prove herself and to everyone else that she doesn't need Caleb's help to succeed. She's still a mother's daughter, after all, independent and capable. That is until the event fails and Caleb steps in uninvited to save the day. The rift that follows unearths a decade of grievances and doubts. Are they truly the same people they were when they got married at 19? Are they supposed to be? In a desperate attempt to fix their fear is breaking, Sarah and Caleb make the spontaneous decision to get out of their comfort zone and join a grueling hiking trip intended to guide couples through rough patches. What follows is a life-affirming comedy of errors as two nature-averse people fight their way out of the woods in order to find their way back to their roots. So that is Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonam Young. I feel like Hannah Bonam Young has a way of writing vulnerability, discussions of difficult topics, miscommunication, as well as yearning in a really beautiful way. All of her MMCs, all of her male love interests have a tenderness to them. They're very relatable in a lot of ways. And when they do fall in love with the main character or they fall deeper into love with them, it feels relatable and it feels real because both characters have flaws but are lovable. And I absolutely appreciate how real and how tender that Out of the Woods feels. This book made me feel the same feelings as like 27 Dresses, where both characters are a bit prickly. But there is something really beautiful about seeing someone who's so type A being able to let go and to feel loved and to trust. So this definitely gave me those vibes. So yeah, Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonam Young. Next, for a summery romance in the cowboy genre, I had a few choices. I did. I had a few choices. Elliot Rose was on that list. But for some reason, Elliot Rose's books to me give me more fall and winter. The one that gave me summer vibes was Flawless by Elsie Silver. This book to me is like, if you're looking for an introduction to a cowboy romance, this is the one for you. It's got some spice. It's got some found family. It's got a really beautiful relationship between a father and a daughter with our female main character. She's whip smart. She's very fast paced. She's in the state of, I will fix it, very much in that mindset. And then our MMC in this one is quite grumpy. And I like the situations that they get into where the banter and their kind of goals in life are similar, but they have different paths about going around them. They're very family oriented, and I loved that in this. I also really appreciated the I don't know the chemistry. Like this reminds me of this series. If you loved the off-campus series and you liked the banter of season one and of that first book, The Deal, then I think you'll really enjoy Flawless by Elsie Silver. It's a more like if they weren't in college, if they were based in the South, and if they I don't know, like that kind of MMC where he knows himself really well and he wants the female main character to view herself in a really bright light that she deserves to be respected and seen and loved and has a crappy ex. Things like that. Like if you like when he points out like you're the prize. Flawless by Elsie Silver. You definitely get those moments. It's so good. And there's some interesting family dynamics in here. Like there are secrets that get revealed. Like it's very good. So I love this. Is like a cowboy romance, perfect for like a summertime vibe. So what is Flawless by Elsie Silver about? The rules are simple. Keep my hands off his daughter. But now I'm stuck with her. And there's only one bed, and well, the rules are made to be broken. I'm a golden boy of professional bull riding, or at least I was until it all blew up in my face. Now my agent says I have to clean up my image, so I'm stuck with this ball busting daughter for the rest of the season as my full time supervision. She's a grown woman. I will add that. But I don't need a goddamn babysitter, especially one with skin tight jeans, a sexy smirk, and a mouth she can't stop running, a mouth I can't stop thinking about. She says this means nothing. I say this means everything. She says there are boundaries we should not cross. My reputation cannot take any more hits, and neither can her damaged heart. I say I'm going to steal it anyway. And that is Flawless by Elsie Silver. Listen, I've said what I had to say. This is so, so good. There's a show on Netflix, low key, where there's a dynamic, there's a banter that reminds me a lot of this book. I think it was only one season, but it was something ranch. It was like something ridge or whatever. It was so good. And it reminded me a lot of the dynamics of Flawless by Elsie Silver. Okay. I'm sorry if you hear my family dogs in the background. There's like mailmen and they go crazy for the mailmen. Okay, my next book, this is an oldie, but it's a goodie. Okay. We're tapping a little bit into the taboo. All right. And we're a little bit of an age gap. I actually got to meet this author. So this book is very close to my heart. I've reread it many times. And that is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. This is actually my signed copy. I love this book with all my heart. I originally read it on Kindle Unlimited, and owning the physical copy makes me so happy because this has a bonus chapter. And for anyone who knows me, knows that I love a good bonus chapter. I want to know what happens after the ending. I like a good epilogue. I adore it. So, what is Birthday Girl about? Birthday Girl follows this young woman. She is working. She has this really cruddy boyfriend. He's kind of like flaky. And on her birthday, she ends up going to a movie theater because he was going to come pick her up and like he's going to take a long time. She goes to a movie theater and she has her like little birthday cupcake or like donut. And she sits next to this really handsome man and they end up talking a little bit. She feels some chemistry, but she's with her boyfriend, so she has to ignore it. And then she leaves the movie theater. She gets with her boyfriend. He trashed her apartment, like he had a party, all that. And because of that, they end up getting kicked out of the apartment. And she ends up having to move in with her boyfriend into his estranged dad's house. And the guy at the movie theater was the estranged dad. He had his son like at a really young age. You learn about the conflict between the dad and like the main character's ex-boyfriend. He does become her ex, spoiler alert. And the story kind of goes from there. It's very much a forbidden romance. It's very well paced. It does not feel rushed by any means. And I really, really liked how, I don't know, like this female main character reminded me a lot of the first romance that ever kind of got me into reading, like religiously. And that was Fallen Too Far by Abby Glines. This female main character reminds me a lot of that main character from Fallen Too Far by Abby Glines because it just feels like I have a soft spot for any characters that are really hardworking, that are big givers, that are soft at heart, and who yearn to feel loved and seen and be able to relax in their relationship. And maybe haven't had that opportunity before, I feel for them. So when they do kind of explore their fantasies and when they do explore what they want and what they're dreaming of and have the support and a safe space to be themselves, I root for them. And I felt that in Birthday Girl. And I just loved how she grew into herself. I love how she spoke up for herself in many situations. I also like there's a sweetness and a tenderness between her and the love interest. So this is a really, really beautiful book. It's spicy, but there's a lot more substance to it as well. So I'm gonna read the back because I've been fangirling this whole time. True love comes from the most forbidden places and this TikTok smash hit. It was amazing before TikTok, okay? All right. And New York Times bestselling author Penelope Douglas. Jordan and her boyfriend have nowhere else to go, and when her boyfriend's dad, Pike, offers to let them move in with him, working a dead end job and with her relationship on the rocks, she reluctantly accepts, expecting to help out around the house in exchange. What she doesn't anticipate is for her heart to race every time Pike pulls into the driveway, and for her cheeks to burn when their eyes meet over the kitchen table. He is kind and listens to her and protects her in a way that no man ever has before. Her sister once told her, there are no good men, and if you find one, he's probably unavailable. Only Pike isn't the unavailable one. She is. And as the days go by, Pike is finding it anything but simple to have his son's girlfriend living in the house. I told you it was taboo. He can't stop thinking about her and holding his breath every time that they cross paths. It feels like she's becoming a part of him, except he knows they're not free to give into this. How could they when he's her boyfriend's father? And that's Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. I'm not going to force you to do it, but it's perfect for summertime. Okay. There's a pool scene. It's forbidden. There's a lot of moments of him yearning for her, her yearning for him. They come close, they pull apart. Like it's very, very good. Okay. And it's iconic for a reason. I love this. Love this down. And it's on Kindle Unlimited. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, next, we're simmering down a little bit, and we are diving into a Friends to Lovers. This is from another author who's been on the podcast. She's a sweetie pie, and this is Match Me If You Can by Swati Hegde. This one is a slow burn Friends to Lovers. It definitely gives very much like Emma from Jane Austen. It's a really good retelling. I believe the female main character in this book has an app to like match people together, and it turns out her best friend, who's like a bartender, and he's really close to her family and stuff. They have really sweet, beautiful banter. It's definitely giving Emma from Jane Austen, but it's also giving sprinkles of like How Harry Met Sally because he like the slow burn is very real, and when the chemistry builds and builds and builds, it feels like that swoon worthy like 90s romance. Like, can we be friends and still be in love at the same time? Like, are we willing to take that risk? That's what this book very much gave. And if you like Friends to Lovers, this is a very good book to read from. So I will Just leave it at that. All right. As you're picking up speed, I have a bonus round. It's two books from the same author. I really tried only to pick one book from her, but that was very difficult. Like, listen, that was very difficult. Like, I had to do these two because they both are so good. So the first one is actually a book that I bought at Steamy Lit. I have read this book so many times on Kindle Unlimited. Eventually, I'm like, if I buy this book, I have to have a physical copy because I read it at least 2 to 3 times a year. And that is Caught Up by Liz Tomforde. Also, this edition is absolutely gorgeous. Miller, the main character in this book, is a baker. On the front has a little whisk. And her love interest, Kai, is on a baseball team. Her dad is actually the coach of the team. So Miller is a Michelin star baker. She's burned out. She's been through a lot. Like she just needs a break. So she ends up on the road with her dad and like his baseball team, and she becomes a babysitter for Kai's son. So Kai had a child. The woman gave up their child. She's like, "Hey, have this baby. I don't want to be a mom anymore." He takes on the role of being a single dad. He loves his son so much, and he's a little bit controlling about like who the babysitter is. He's fired a lot of babysitters. He's very particular, and Miller is this like tattooed chef, like very like sharp. Like she says everything's on her mind. Kai, they have this like banter, they butt heads, but deep down, like he's really like vibing with her, and she's also really into him. She tells him how hot he is. Like he kind of feels like he lost his spark a little bit. His son is his number one priority, as it should be. And he's developing feelings for Miller. But Miller, the female main character, she is going to be going back to her career and her goals in the future. This is only going to be lasting about like 2 months. That's the agreement. And Miller's father in this book actually has his own love story as well, which I will be talking about. So don't think I'm not mentioning that because I absolutely love him. But Caught Up is about Miller and Kai's love story and really about like opening up in love, communication. It's about the beauty of finding yourself again. It's about found family. Miller was adopted by her father, and she feels a really deep need to be successful because he made a lot of sacrifices for her. So she wants to make sure that his sacrifices were worth it. And Kai is able to kind of reflect back that for her and say, like, you are already amazing and successful and brilliant. Your father loves you either way. And they have a lot of conversations about that as well. This is quite steamy. The love story is beautiful. It builds and builds and builds. And similar to baking, the flavors, the chocolate, the sweetness, the cuteness, everything adds up. So when the ending does come, you will be deep in your feelings, and it's just so good. It's delectable. It's delectable. Like the M&M cookies in this book. If you know, you know. This book is amazing, and I cry every single time I get to the end. Just happy tears, like a lot of emotions. And I love Caught Up by Liz Tomforde. It's a baseball romance. It's a little bit enemies to lovers. They are not friends in the very beginning. There's lots of banter. The female main character is a baker, so lots of like foodie discussions. It's gonna make you want to cook if you like that. And it also has beautiful found family, and lots of humorous moments as well. Like you will laugh. So that's Caught Up by Liz Tomforde. This is book 3 in a series, but personally, you don't have to read the series. Like you could easily read this and you would be fine. The books can be read on their own. But if you do want to learn about each couple in the series, they do pop up in other books, like Friends in the background. So if you want to do that, you can do that. This is on Kindle Unlimited. But if you're like me and you fall in love, you're going to want to get a copy at some point. Next is another book in the series, but it's just it stands on its own. It's amazing. It's brilliant, and I had to mention it because it goes hand in hand with Caught Up. And this is about Reese and Emmett, and that is In Her Own League by Liz Tomforde. This actually came out this year. I bought this book so freaking fast because I loved Emmett in Caught Up. That was Miller's dad. And he lost his partner. She passed away, and he ended up adopting Miller as a child. And he's the coach of this baseball team. And the person who actually ends up buying the baseball team, her grandpa previously owned it. She's been working and grinding and really educating herself. Reese is now the owner of the baseball team. And they end up developing feelings for each other, but it's like a workplace romance. They're not supposed to be together. She has to protect like her professional setting and like kind of how she's perceived. She's already getting a lot of flack as a woman in the league, as a manager and the owner of this team. She's trying to make things better. Meanwhile, she's developing feelings for Emmett, and Emmett's also developing feelings for her. It is amazing. We've got career representation, we've got steam, we've got spice, we've got really beautiful moments discussing vulnerability, power dynamics in the workplace, double standards. There's a lot going on, and it's just so freaking good. It's so, so good. And I absolutely loved In Her Own League. Like, read it. Like between Caught Up and In Her Own League, like Liz Tomforde, this series is going to become a TV show. Like I heard that that's happening, and I'm so excited. And I can't wait to see these characters on screen. And I can't wait to see the curvy representation. The diversity in these books is amazing, and I can't wait to see that on screen. So definitely check out In Her Own League. It's wonderful, so good. Next, I want to dive into another author who doesn't have one, not two, not three, but four books on this list, y'all. If you can't tell, I'm a fan. Been that girl. Always been a fan. I also had this author on the podcast. She's a sweetie pie, but I was a fan even before that. I'm true to this, not new to this. Um, and the books that I want to mention are the Green Sister series by Kristina Forrest. These books are the king of my heart. I love these books so, so much. The reason I'm going to recommend them for summertime romances is because the neighbor favor, I have so many annotations. The favor follows a woman who messages her favorite fantasy author. He's kind of anonymous and stuff. He ends up responding to her. They correspond, and eventually he ghosts her. A hot guy ends up moving in next door a few months later, and they kind of develop a crushing situation. They're crushing each other. It's very cute. It's very sweet. And there may or may not be a connection to that. So this book is perfect for like book lovers, people who like little winks at like maybe Lord of the Rings, but black. We have each book is actually following a sister in like they're three sisters. They're all the Green sisters. So each book is a different sister and her love story. So this one actually follows, I believe, the youngest sister. Her name's Lily. Each sister is also named after a flower because their parents own a floral shop. It's just adorable. If you're looking for summery romances that have like Hallmark vibes, but with a little bit of spice and yearning, these books are for you. So the first book is The Neighbor Favors. This is the one with the author, and then she works in like publishing, and they are falling in love. Super cute. I also have another one, which is a second chance romance in the Green Sister series. This is book two, and that is the partner plot. This is following Violet, and she had a big crush on this guy in high school. They end up dating. Something happens, and they end up breaking up. Years go by. She's like a fashion designer now for a really prolific like R&B artist. Imagine like Meg the Stallion, and her engagement falls apart, but she ends up bumping into her high school sweetheart in Vegas. They have a wild night, wake up, they're married, and they end up going back to their small town and kind of like she's a big city girl, he's a teacher in the small town, and they're navigating this relationship, kind of faking it for a bit. But also, there's still a lot of real emotions there. And this was so, so cute. I absolutely loved this. And you see a lot of vulnerability as well from the MMC, which Kristina Forrest does so well. So that's the partner plot. This is book two. It gives summertime romance because you also get like commentary from like his students in his class. It's giving Abbott Elementary and humor. You're getting a lots of references to flashbacks from their high school experiences, front porch kisses, climbing up a tree to get to your partner's bedroom, like crawling through the window, flashbacks from high school. Like it's really, really sweet. And it's a really good second chance romance. And book three in the series, one of my favorites. My girlfriend got this for me last February on Valentine's Day, which is a special day for us. And this is The Love Lyric by Kristina Forrest. This follows the oldest sister in the Green Sisters group. And this follows Iris and her love story with Angel, who I very much imagined as like a young Usher, Neo, like that energy. Iris is in, I think, the skincare industry. She's a single mom. She's also, she lost her husband a few years prior, and she is developing feelings for Angel, this singer who's part of a brand for the skincare company that she works for. So another little like workplace romance. We also have Angel falls harder. The MMC met her in book two at a wedding, and he ends up like asking about her. Like she's never really left his mind. So you see him pursuing her quite a bit, which is really cute. So we've got He Falls Harder, workplace romance, musical elements. Like he writes music for her, and it's just absolutely adorable. I love the love lyric, and it was a great audiobook. So that is for like a summery romance. If you want a series that's giving heartwarming with a little bit of spice, found family as well, and great MMCs and adorable female main characters, I would recommend the Green Sister series by Kristina Forrest. It's perfection. It's so, so good. And you could read any of the books on their own. You do not have to read them like, you don't have to like promise yourself like I have to read the entire series, but you're gonna want to because they're all amazing. My last Kristina Forrest book recommendation is actually a newer release, and that is The Summer Girlfriend by Kristina Forrest. This one is obviously giving summer vibes. It's set at a fictional, beautiful beach that the author actually has referenced, has like historical elements of a Black beach that's really beautiful that she has memories from. And I also want to say that, like, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil The Summer Girlfriend. So I'm going to read the back. But I also want to say that, like, the banter and the friendship at the heart of this story is very much giving like The Summer I Turned Pretty plus the beauty and the warmth and the comfort of like a just right situation. I love that romance movie. So if you liked the tenderness from that, you'll really like this one. So what is The Summer Girlfriend about? A fake summer fling between a stand-in girlfriend and a handsome business heir becomes way too real in this glittering new romance by US Today author Kristina Forrest. Noelle Lewis doesn't have time for long walks on the beach, brunch with the girls, and summer vacations. She's too busy saving up to go back to college after recently getting laid off from her best book-selling job. Her main gig is now serving as a stand-in bridesmaid, which doesn't pay much for the upcoming semester's tuition. But then the perfect, if unconventional, opportunity arises. Jeremiah Smith II, grandson of the founder of Smith Sweets, a well known baked goods company, once lived a life of frivolity. Since his grandfather's death, Jeremiah's tried to clean up his act, but it's hard to focus when his family requests that he join them at their summer house in Hart Beach, New Jersey, where his most painful memory lies. To avoid going there, Jeremiah claims he already has plans with his girlfriend, and of course, his family tells him to bring her. The problem, Jeremiah doesn't have a girlfriend. That man don't have a girlfriend. After a chance meeting, Noelle and Jeremiah come to an agreement. He'll hire her to be his stand-in girlfriend for the weekend, and she'll use those funds towards her tuition. She figures it'll be quick, easy money, but it turns out Jeremiah's family is lovely. And Jeremiah is even lovelier. Soon, a weekend agreement becomes a contract for the entire summer, and Noelle and Jeremiah will have to keep their hearts in check, or else it's sink or swim for them both. And that is The Summer Girlfriend. I just love the way that Kristina Forrest writes fake dating. I also really like the situations she puts her characters in. I'm sorry. Like, it's still adorable. It's still adorable. Okay, my last two book recommendations are really, really cute. I'm excited to share them with you. The first one is First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. This book very much gave me summer romance because I think about like listening to the radio while you're on road trips. I think about Sleepless in Seattle as this is a slight sprinkle of that in this story. The audiobook, the quality is amazing. This is one of the best audiobooks I've ever listened to. And it also has really beautiful moments of like running, like big moments you see in rom-coms, like running to the other person to see them. You get those moments in this. And that, if that does not give summer, I don't know what does. So let's read the back of this book. A hopeless romantic meets a demoralized radio host in this cozy, Sleepless in Seattle inspired love story. Aiden Valentine is a secret. He's fallen out of love with love. And as the host of Baltimore's romance hotline, that's a problem. When a young girl calls to the station asking for dating advice for her mom, the interview goes viral. Lucy Stone thought she was doing just fine. She's a good job, an incredible family, and a smart, slightly devious kid. But when all of Baltimore is suddenly scrutinizing her love life or lack thereof, she begins to question if she's happy as she thought. With the help of the radio station, maybe a little more romance wouldn't be such a bad thing for Lucy. When sparks start to fly behind the scenes, Lucy must make the final call between the radio sponsored Happily Ever After or the man in the headphones next to her. And that is that's First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. This has a book two and an upcoming book three with different couples, but I do know that the characters from this book do pop into the other book. I also want to say that, like, while reading First Time Caller, I actually read it with a friend of mine as a buddy read. I'm grateful I did because there were so many beautiful moments in this book that felt like rom-com worthy. Like, I want to see this on screen. This has friends to lovers, we've got banter, we've got grumpy sunshine, we've got steam, we've got mixed media, as some elements of the story are transcripts from their discussions on the radio station. We also have a female character who's a mechanic, so she is very much giving like the overalls, hardworking, very driven. We've got dry humor, and we also have like he falls first. I feel like Aiden in this book was already deeply falling in love with her, and he was in denial at one point. But when it does hit him, it is iconic. It is amazing. Like, that man is a romantic at heart. He really is, and it's so so good. The last book I want to recommend is actually an anthology. It just came out, and I just want to give it some love. I feel like it does give some romance because it's got a lot of fantasy elements, and I want to cater to that. As the heat rises, we need to snuggle up, put the fan on, and slide into a fantasy story. And this anthology is These Kindred Hearts. This is edited by Shari B. Pennant. This is the author of another anthology that's absolutely amazing. Black, I think it's Black, Magical, and Awkward. She was in that. She also is the co-owner of Jay's House. It's a bookshop and bakery here in Florida that's opening up very soon. And I was grateful enough to go to Steamy Lit to be able to hear Shari talk about how she edited these stories together, her short story in this collection, and all of the love stories in this collection have happy endings. So that's absolutely like heartwarming in the summertime. So, what is this anthology, These Kindred Hearts 17 Tales of Love and Magic, about? 17 authors from varied backgrounds come together to showcase the diversity of romance and celebrate the wild hearts of teens in this timeless, sweeping young adult romance anthology edited by Shari B. Pennant. The daughter of the royal Hell Dimension deals with an unwanted betrothal to a boy she's supposed to murder and questions the meaning of fate. An aspiring writer accidentally summons her own book character and struggles to send her new crush back to her fantasy world. An orphaned thief and a chosen one must go on the run from a tyrannical empire. Two friends confess their feelings for each other in the middle of an earth shattering apocalypse. That's Shari's short story. A mix of cozy high stakes and action packed fantasy, everything in between, fills these 17 tales that explore power, magic of love. These Kindred Hearts include stories by Alexine Farrell Falmouth, Angela Montoya from Okur Thirst, Brant Lambert, Chelsea Padilla, Cheryl Isaacs, Jamar J. Perry, Jennifer Helen, Jill Tu, Kaylin Barron, Kwame Bele, Maggie Togdahal, Nia Davenport, Nikki T. Grant, Shari B. Panett, Sophie Lee, Vanessa Mentalban, and Zarita Cordova. Yay! So that's These Kindred Hearts. I had to reference this because romantasy is perfect year round, but I think it has a special little sparkle in the summertime. So those were my summer romance book recommendations. I hope you liked this episode. And I also wanted to share some comments on a recent Instagram post with you all because I asked you guys what your love stories were and why you love to read, who do you talk to about the books that you read. And I wanted to share some of your responses because I think that it breathes new life into the episodes. And I just want to share them with you for folks who maybe aren't on social media who may want to read these. So some of the comments that were responding to my question were, I talk about books with my dad. We both share the love of books together. I literally give hubby the play by play, even when it's some shit he is not trying to hear. My friends and I are book lovers. I've been married for 20 years now, and I always tell the hubby about my books. I'm so hyped for this episode. Thank you for who responded like that. Love this. I'll be back to check out the episode. Wine, Walk, and Book Talk said, sounds like a good, perfect podcast for the summer. I usually talk with my friends and my hubby, who's been by my side for 35 years. Real Goldie Williamson said, I talk mostly about the books I'm reading with the Instagram community and about the book I'm writing with my editor. Toko Leaky said, my husband and I have been together for 21 years, and even after all this time, we still love each other, like the day we met. I'm actually 2 years older than him, so we've got a little reverse age gap going on. He's still the first person I want to tell about everything, even if he has to listen to all my book rambles. That's so cute. Audiobook Fantastic said, my mother and brother are both readers, so I actually chat about my books with them. Rachel Hassan has no self control, says no real life love story to talk about, but I talk about books with my mom and my ex-work wife. That's pretty cool. And the Bookish Beagle Read said, I talk about books on Bookstagram and occasionally my sister, but she likes darker books than I do. So that was super cute. Thank you for everyone who commented on that post and told me about like your thoughts on love and who you talk to your favorite books about. Thank you for everyone who listened. I hope you end up reading some of the books from my summary romance book recommendations list. All the books will be listed below. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see y'all later. Bye.